Welcome back. The 21-year-old accused of killing 9 people at a South Carolina church is charged with 9 counts of murder and possession of a firearm. Governor Nikki Haley has said that she will undoubtedly seek the death penalty against Dylan Roof. Witnesses say they heard him say that he wanted to start a civil war, and federal authorities are investigating the attack as a hate crime. All of this raising questions about how the case against him will play out. Robert Bianchi is a criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor, and David Schwartz, a defense attorney and also former prosecutor. Thank you both for joining us today. A lot of questions are beginning to be asked in this case. One of the first, who handles it? State authorities or federal authorities? I'll start with you.
Yeah, well, listen, this is going to be a major issue that's going on right now. Of course, this investigation is going to be looking at if there are other participants, who else may have been involved, whether it's a conspiracy. But the federal laws and state laws are both implicated here. I can tell you, having handled this from a policy-making decision, there's probably going to be a little wrangling there because each jurisdiction, these prosecutors want this case. Federal prosecutors want it on the hate crimes and civil rights violations, which are separate statutes that he can be prosecuted for, as well as the death penalty potential with this case. And the state prosecutors are going to want it because it happened in their jurisdiction. And there's going to be a little bit of a back and forth. Let's hope they don't do parallel investigations, but rather pool their resources and work together, look at the aggravating factors from the federal and the state. And in my opinion, it's better prosecuted to death penalty in the state law from having reviewed both of those statutes.
But the state of South Carolina doesn't recognize a hate crime. So how will that affect?
It shouldn't matter. I mean, this should be certainly within the purview of the people of South Carolina. It should be the local district attorney's office that prosecutes this case. I don't think there should be any wrangling whatsoever. The feds should be waiting back. If they want to bring a prosecution after the state, they'll bring it. And of course, this is a death penalty case, so I don't think the hate crime is going to play a role. It's an 8-count murder case, death penalty case. One of
the great significances with this, though, is that if they both work together and the federal government is charging and the state government is charging, it gives a tremendous amount of leverage to the prosecution in terms of resolving this case, which I can only see a life, any kind of plea deal being life with no possibility of parole.
That was my next question. How do you possibly defend him here? How do they handle that side of it?
That's the easiest answer in the world for a criminal defense attorney. It's keeping him alive for one more second, one more hour, one more day. They've got a bad case here, the defense attorneys. This is a great death penalty case, and as far as they're concerned philosophically, they're going to try to stretch it out as long as they can.
What about the issue of the judge that is handling things so far? Because he has come into question. We heard the victim impact statements going on, one after another, offering forgiveness. Amazingly graceful of these individuals who their loved ones murdered, gunned down, shot multiple times, by the way, and he reloaded the gun also, by the way.
This is a bail hearing. I couldn't figure it out. I've never seen anything like it in my life, that there would be victim impact statements at a bail hearing. It made no sense whatsoever. I mean, maybe they do things differently in South Carolina, but and to bring the families into that courtroom so fast after this murder took place, I couldn't believe what I was watching. Certainly victim impact statements are very important later on, obviously after the trial and when you have sentencing, and certainly during the death penalty phase, that'll play a huge role. But in the beginning of the case,
could this have a negative impact on the case moving forward?
I got to tell you what, this may be one of the reasons why when the state prosecutors and federal prosecutors sit at the table, they're not going to just be looking at what the difference in the statutes are, but also the courtroom process and procedure. I agree with David. This was an extraordinarily unusual and, in my opinion, imprudent action by the judge. And this is what happens when TV cameras are in a courtroom. A judge isn't used to dealing with the media, and it became, in my opinion, a media spectacle. And the prosecutors in the state court had to be shaking their head saying, my God, what is going on here? And that could be one of the reasons why they say we need to pull this into a federal court with a more seasoned judge.
It'll be very interesting to see what happens in regards to that. But also, the suspect himself, he's been in trouble with the law before, been in trouble with drugs. Yeah. How will that impact?
I mean, I don't think that's going to have much of an impact at all. There's a lot of drug cases out there. There's a lot of troubled people out there. They don't commit an 8-count murder, go into a church and murder 8 people. So I'm not sure that's going to play much of a role. But his drug addiction generally will play a huge role in this case, and that could be what keeps him alive.
We only have about 5 seconds left.
I don't agree. In this kind of case, it's about as bad as it gets from a death penalty point of view. I've tried death penalty cases as a prosecutor. He sat there lying in wait at religious services.
For an
He
hour.
slaughtered these people.
Yes.
End of story. This is a death penalty
And apparently has even said he felt bad about it because they were so nice to him.
Yeah, well, that
But
really
he
makes it even more
murdered them
creepy.
anyway.
Yep.
Certainly.
Thank you both. We appreciate it.
Okay, Heather.
Kelly?